Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Intan Kurnianingsih. My registration number A1M2-19008. In this video, I will explain about assessing the language of young learners. Okay, the first topic is defining young language learner. Young language learner is complicated by the range of language learning experiences, the range of age to be covered by the qualifier young, and the fact that in different parts of the world, different school systems introduce students to second language and foreign language instruction at different points in their school careers. In Europe, young learner is often applied to students in only the very early school years, age 5 until 7 or before. In the USA, where the introduction of foreign language teaching often doesn't take place until the secondary grades, the notion of a young learner can span the entire preschool and elementary years, age 3 until 11. Obviously, for second language learners, the onset of a second language can start before the start of formal schooling or at any time during the primary school years for those who emigrate as school-age language learners. The second topic is defining the language learning context. According to the Howard 1998, second language acquisition such as ESL is made more complex in the young learner context by the existence of bilingual first language acquisition, in which children may be acquiring two languages each as a native language. As they enter formal schooling environments, including preschool, these children may become literate in only one of their two languages if the schooling system favors one language over the other or if parents don't opt to enroll their children in dual language programming. The language learning experiences of young children may also be characterized by immersion in a second language they are yet to acquire. The third topic is defining language varieties. According to Kasdan 2001 and Kama 2005 additional construct definition that need to be taken into account in the assessment of young learners include the social and academic language constructs. While the distinction between the language used in a scholastic environment and the language used in everyday context may not be as great during the early years of schooling as it is once children begin to take discipline-specific classes, for example, history and algebra. The distinction arguably still exists, with increasing preschool enrollment worldwide. More young children have been affected by fights between opportunities for preschool language development and later academic outcomes. The fourth topic is types and purpose of assessment. The first type is high-stakes assessment. These assessments are summative of knowledge gained and are often considered high stakes for the student. For example, a deciding factor in being reclassified as a fluent English speaker for instructional placement, or high stakes for those who educate them. For example, evaluation of teacher or school performance, also considered high stakes but not summative, are assessments designed to screen a student's abilities for weaknesses that need immediate amelioration or flag for possible future attention. Such screening purpose and can also be considered high stakes for both the individual and the schooling system. An individual needs to be accurately identified for further instruction or service if these are necessary to their development. And the second type is assessment for learning. Assessment for learning, such as formative assessment, is especially pertinent in the case of young learners still acquiring a new language. Formative approach to assessment can capture a broad array of relevant language information for teachers that is closely tied to the young learner's instructional needs. Formative assessment can be conducted by teachers either informally while on the run as part of ongoing instruction, or it can be formal that is planned in advance to address certain aspects of students' language knowledge. According to Bailey and Heritage 2008, a central focus of formative assessment is teacher feedback to students, as well as a focus on student monitoring of their own language learning through self-assessment. Formative assessment may also include extra-child characteristics such as the classroom environment, parental involvement, home literacy, habits, etc., and take many different forms. And the next topic is developmental considerations. Young learner assessment deserves to be established as a highly expert field of endeavor requiring, for example, knowledge of the social and cognitive development of young learners, knowledge of second language literacy development, and understanding of assessment principles and practice. Beginning with MCK's assertion that the field developed an understanding of assessment principles and practice, three main areas of test design with young children require special consideration. According to Inbar et al. 2005, the first is format, whether individual, small group, or whole class. The second is choice of item and task types. Choice of item and task types will need to correspond to the cognitive processing capabilities and degree of task familiarity of young learners. For example, provides a language test item that requires making meaning from a barcode. And the last is choice of contextualized, age-appropriate stimuli. The next topic is impact of child development on test interpretation. Cognitive and social developments not only impact test design, but also the manner in which tests are administered and interpreted. Assumptions upon which validity arguments are made with standardized assessments are often compromised when administering such tests with young children. For example, the assumption of uniformity of the testing experience for all the test takers is not met with young children, whose attention abilities and familiarity with test taking can vary tremendously. The next topic is guidelines for assessing young children. There are several general test administration guidelines for use with young learners. The first is assessments should be tailored to a specific purpose and should be reliable, valid, and fair for that purpose. The second is policies should be designed recognizing that reliability and validity of assessments increase with children's age. The third is assessment should be age appropriate in both content and the method of data collection. And the last is parents should be evaluated short of assessment information as well as an audience for assessment results. I think that's all I can explain about assessing the language of young learners. Thank you so much for watching. I close by saying wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.